Good morning. Today will be week 3, day 7, the end of the 3rd week of me reacting and monitoring my yoga practice. This week I did a 30-minute yin-based yoga for deep hip stretches, and as I'm finding, the theme in my practice is inflexibility in my hips and lower back, and so that's kind of where I'm focusing in the next couple weeks. This week I really just noticed the inflexibility, honestly, and it was good that I did a deep stretch this week. It was a little bit slower. It was snowy, menstruating. There were things happening where I think a slow stretch, and that's the beauty of yoga. You can kind of take it where you need it to go, and this week I think I did need to slow it down. Next week I might pick it up with a little bit more intensity. Feeling all right. So we'll do this one more time for the week. I did it about 5 out of the 7 days, including today. Still progress, and I had a lot of resistance towards showing up today, but we're doing it. Yeah, thanks for being here, and hopefully we'll see you next week. All right, so first of all, this practice starts out in a child's pose, but even before we go into the child's pose, she has you stay up and stretch it out first, which I think actually helps and is a little bit unexpected, which I appreciate. Like I mentioned in the intro, I have just had so much resistance this week, so much bad mental health. I'm fighting back into really old patterns of self-sabotage, and couldn't tell you why. But yeah, I found it really hard to arrive in this practice, and throughout the entire practice I felt it so difficult to just focus on the moment. Everything was, I have to edit this, I have to make this happen, I have to clean, and I think I'm trying to find a lot of control right now in a world that doesn't have, in a country right now where we don't really have control and we don't really know what each day holds. And so I get into these fits of trying to control every other little detail of my life, and it's just self-sabotage because nobody can do that. So I found it really difficult to arrive today and most of this week. Dang, I always forget to take off my dang socks. This is downward dog. I don't usually take the first one that I do that seriously, so I'm not gonna mention it, but I think it looks pretty good. I just have no roundness in my lower back area, that's all. And before we go into pigeon, the instructor has us stretch it out like that. Stretch it while you were sitting up first, which is nice. I appreciate that because it just forces me to take time to go into the pose. Alright, so this is first pigeon on the left. Again, I think yoga with bird, she tends to lead with left, i.e. do the poses all on the left side first. And I appreciate that because I'm right-sided, so it kind of feels like, and my right side is more dominant, more flexible, more used, etc. That's why it's the dominant side. And if I get through the less dominant side, I feel like that's more work that I have to put in, and then I can kind of like reward my practice with then getting to do the side that's a little bit easier, and then usually close out the practice. So it's kind of like a giant ease. So you go from the hardest side of your body to an easier side of your body to resting and closing out practice. I prefer leading with left, but not everybody is right dominant, so again with yin, it's holding poses for a very long time, so you can kind of stage it into how you rest into it and how you kind of let your body plop into the pose and really let go and really let the ground trust and hold you and create the sense of security in each of the poses. So again, hard to comment on a yin class because I sit in the same pose for a long time, but I will say towards the end of some of these poses, I was really feeling antsy to get to the next one and to get through the class. Again, just really not being present. So we're going to do down dog into pigeon on the other side. And again, before we lay down into it, we're going to stretch it all out. Really take your time getting into the pose, which is nice. I don't know if you can tell, but my monstera is growing another leaf in the back, which is so nice because the pups were a gift from my friend like 3 years ago, and I was so afraid to replant them to get them to grow more because I had repotted plants in the past and almost always kill them. And so I was really proud and excited. I was like, oh my god, it's growing finally. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the greenest thumb, even though I like to wear green and stuff. So pigeon pose on the right side. Again, she leads with left there. I was able to make it through sitting in that silence, in that pause. It helps when, from my perspective, when the instructor is guiding you through the steps of depth of a yin pose. So halfway through, the instructor reminds the listener to rest, or to really, can you really just let go just a little bit more? Can you just feel, release it from your hips just a little bit more, and just reminding us that you can always just release a little bit more. We hold on to so much. Okay, and this is the yogi squat, and this one messed me up all throughout the week. This one is so difficult. I feel like a little gremlin when I do this one. I'm like hunched over. I think I make some faces. Yeah. Just oh my god. Yeah. And I know it's important. Oh my god. I know it's called a yogi squat. It starts with an M. Its formal name, I'm not going to remember right now. Malasana, maybe? That seems right. Malasana, yogi pose. So difficult to hold for a long time. So the release of that one feels really good. And now I understand why this video was for, even if yin feels kind of easier than like a vinyasa to start, this video is specifically for experienced / flexible practitioners. And so I can tell why, because in that pigeon and in that yogi squat, you're there for a long time, and if you're not already flexible there, it can really be difficult to hold. Then we do some windshield wipers. I do not know the formal name of that one. Windshield wipers are always just a good, oh, you need to floss out your body for a second, take a little break. Okay, so this one is deer pose. Again, leading with the left leg up first. Even though I guess the stretch is on the right side of the body. It's in both spots, really. Yeah, through the right side of the body right there. This is a really, really nice hip opener. Yeah. I fidget a lot in it though. It's hard to find the juicy spot where you can just lean into it, in my opinion. It's not that easy. Yep, just hanging out, deer pose. Again, when I was here, sitting in these poses, especially when the more you're lying down, the more I feel like leaves room to get closer to the ground and get grounded and leave space for thinking and feelings to come up, and I think in this pose, I was just having a really hard time focusing on being present, even though that's like the only goal. And I was really trying to like reiterate my mantra of I am here, I am safe, I am enough, I am here, I am safe, I am enough. And then that would go in one ear and out the other, and it was like, hello. Really frustrating, and I was really not able to focus, really not able to be present. And I still feel grumpy right now, and I did this earlier today, so it might just be one of those DERs. Getting up, I'm definitely now accustomed to like pushing myself up off the ground at this point. Okay, and steer pose on the other side. Can't really see I guess that's my right leg underneath, and that is at a 90-degree angle, and my right foot is touching my left leg right above the knee at a 90-degree angle. Yeah, I remember at this point I did that. It was easier to lock in on the other side, and I guess at this point it's about halfway through the practice itself. So I think I actually did settle in a little bit more in my body. It's coming up in a couple seconds, but I did like definitely cry. Which, yep, there it goes. I'm like, I thought this is, like crying a little bit. The little sobs. Yeah, the shake. It's just like, ugh. So many feelings all the time. Yeah, just trying to breathe. Ugh. And still using my hands to get up, really using the support of the ground. I'm really trying to feel supported and reiterate safety. Yeah, the pretzel twist always is really crazy on the back of the hips, I think is the point. Yeah, shake it out. That's not part of the instructor's guidance, but I like to shake my legs out. A couple weeks ago, my friend hosted a somatic dance party, and that was so interesting. It really is about, and it was in public, you're just dancing and listening and intuiting from your body, like movements that it needs to get out. There was a lot of shaking and tapping from my end, so I try to incorporate that where I can now. Okay, into a very, very long Shavasana. Is it I think I've been saying Shavasana wrong. Is it Savasana? Yeah, and again, even in this corpse pose, resting pose, I was really eager to get out of it for some reason. I was really eager for this practice to be over. I stayed. I guess some weeks are just like that, It's never perfect. You never arrive perfectly. There is kind of no such thing as having a perfect practice and just trying. That's so, because it's your body, you know, it's your body. You're bringing your body and your mind connection. It's not like volleyball practice where it's like bump, set, spike over and over and over again. You're bringing a lot of like your vulnerability to practice, even if you don't realize. And yeah, that's not going to be the same every time you show up. It's just different. It's crazy how they call it corpse pose. Waking up the body, rolling out the toes, feet the toes, doing a full resty boy here. Using the ground again to pull up. I like doing that now. Alright. Namaste. Thank you body. Even if I was upsetty about having to do it. Okay, so that is the end of week 3. That practice is very relaxing. I'm feeling like whimsy and soft. I think during the practice though, my mind was racing the entire time. I could not get my mind to stop thinking it's a Sunday, so there's like a 10 that we're hosting later, and there's things that have to be done around the house. I was just having the hardest time staying present throughout that entire practice. The one time I really locked in was, I think it was the deer pose on my left side, and I was like crying in frustration over like my personal habits this week, I guess. Since November, I've been pretty good about journaling regularly, staying off my cell phone in the mornings and the evenings, and eating regularly, all those things that fill my cup, and back on Instagram. I've been back on a mixed up sleep schedule, eating at weird times. So at some point I was just really, really frustrated with myself because I'm like, how the F do I keep getting here? And same thing with like showing up to the mat today was like such a struggle, but we're here and I'm processing it. Like I cried. I was frustrated with myself and I was crying, and I didn't even think I realized I was frustrated with myself until I was piecing it together in that pose. This is the benefit of doing yoga in real time. I'm looking forward to next week and seeing what happens. So thanks for being here.